Your prefrontal cortex burns 30% of its glucose-suppressing hesitation. You feel paralyzed, but that metabolic drain is actually a tactical pause. That silence isn't failure. It's the exact gap before the spark. Watch the impulse rise. Do not hand it your voice. We mistake stillness for surrender. We think the mind must always move to matter. But the ancient architects knew better. They built courtyards with central wells, not to drown out the city, but to catch the quiet. You live in an age that confuses speed with purpose. Every notification demands a reply. Every glance asks for a reaction. Yet the most deliberate act you will perform today is the one you choose not to make. There is a space between stimulus and response. It is narrower than a breath. Wider than a lifetime. We will return to this in a moment. First, let us look at how we fill it. Most people rush to speak. They mistake volume for truth. They hand their voice to the first thought that arrives at the door. But thoughts are visitors. They do not own the house. The gap you feel is not a defect. It is a feature of the design. It was placed there for a reason. We will uncover that reason soon. But first, you must see how the mind tries to escape it. It fears the quiet. It calls it emptiness. It calls it weakness. It is neither. It is the only ground you can stand on. The floorboards are steady. The walls are thick. You simply need to learn how to rest in the room you already occupy. Do not rush the door. Let the knock echo. Let the air settle. Then decide. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself in the quiet hours before dawn. He did not write to conquer empires. He wrote to conquer the impulse. The barbarian at the border could wait. The senator in the courtyard could wait. The real siege was inside his own skull. When a messenger arrived with bad news, Marcus did not raise his voice. He measured the distance between the report and his reply. He knew the empire could survive a delayed answer. It would not survive a reckless one. Consider your own morning. An email arrives with a sharp tone. Your fingers hover over the keyboard. The body wants to strike back. The blood wants to rise. But you pause. You let the heat settle. That is not weakness. That is architecture. You are building a room between the world and your words. Seneca warned against the sudden storm of the mind. He watched men ruin their fortunes in a single sentence. They thought they were defending themselves. They were only exposing their edges. The Stoic does not refuse the wave. He learns to stand in the shallows until it passes. Think of the last time you almost replied in anger. You felt the pull. You almost sent the message. You almost said the word. What if you had simply watched it pass? Not as a coward, but as a craftsman inspecting his tools before use. We will come back to that craftsman. But first, notice what happens when we hand over the reins too quickly. The mind is a riverbed. If you do not channel it, it floods everything around it. You direct the water. You do not fight it. You build levees. You let the current move through the gates you choose. The gates are your attention. The current is your emotion. You decide when to open them. When you open them too fast, the banks break. When you measure them, the water nourishes the fields. The same energy can destroy or sustain. The difference is the timing. The gap holds the difference. The modern world runs on frictionless reaction. A screen lights up. A notification chimes. A comment demands a defense. You feel the jolt. You answer before you breathe. The algorithm rewards the quick. The quick rarely rewards the wise. Watch your thumb. It moves without permission. It scrolls. It taps. It types. You have trained it to outrun your judgment. This is not your fault. It is the design of the room you live in. But you can change the furniture. When a colleague speaks sharply in a meeting, the old path fires. Defend. Correct. Win. The new path is quieter. It asks a simple question. Is this mine to carry right now? If not, set it down. Let the silence do the work. Silence is not empty. It is heavy with unspent force. I want you to notice which impulse feels most familiar to you. The need to correct a stranger online. The urge to justify yourself in a family group chat. Or the quiet resignation that comes before speaking your truth. Which one resonates more? Comment 1, 2, or 3 later. We will measure them against the same stone. The principle remains unchanged across centuries. Impulse is a spark. Attention is fuel. Reaction is the fire. You do not starve the spark. You simply refuse to hand it the wood. This is how empires are preserved. This is how peace is kept. Not by fighting every shadow, but by waiting for the sun to reveal its shape. You might wonder if this makes you passive. It does not. It makes you precise. A surgeon does not rush the scalpel. He waits for the exact moment the tissue aligns. Your mind works the same way. The gap is where precision lives. We will walk into that gap next. But before we go, remember the email you almost sent. Remember the meeting where you held your tongue. That was not hesitation. That was preparation. The light does not flicker in panic. It burns steady because it feeds on the wick at a measured rate. Your attention must burn at that same rate. Slow. Controlled. Unwasted. The modern hour demands you sprint. The ancient hour teaches you to walk. Both arrive at the destination. Only one preserves the traveler. How do you practice this when the world demands speed? You do not change your nature. You change your rhythm. Start with the breath. Not the forced kind. The natural kind. When the urge rises, count 3 slow seconds. Inhale through the nose. Hold for 1. Exhale through the mouth. In those 3 seconds, the chemistry shifts. The adrenaline drops. The cortex clears. You are no longer a passenger. You are the driver. This is not a trick. It is physiology meeting philosophy. Epictetus called it the discipline of assent. He taught his students to greet every impression with a simple test. Is this true? Is this necessary? Is this mine? Apply it to the modern hour. A friend cancels plans. The sting arrives. The mind drafts the complaint. Pause. 3 seconds. Ask the test. Is it true they abandoned you? Is it necessary to send the guilt? Is it yours to carry their schedule? If the answer is no, let the thought dissolve like salt in water. Do not expect this to feel easy at first. The body will rebel. The mind will call you slow. It will call you cold. It will call you indifferent. It is only testing the walls you are building. Let it test. Walls hold. They do not shout. Another framework. Name the impulse. Say it quietly to yourself. I feel the need to defend. I feel the need to prove. I feel the need to rush. Naming strips the urgency. It moves the storm from the sky to a map. You can read a map. You cannot outrun a storm. Practice this with low stakes first. A delayed text reply. A skipped comment thread. A quiet moment in an elevator instead of filling it with noise. Build the muscle in the calm. When the pressure comes, the muscle will hold. This is how you train for the real test. Not by seeking conflict, but by refusing to manufacture it. The stone does not argue with the wind. It simply stands. The wind tires first. You must become the stone. Not rigid. Not cold. Just present. The space you guard is sacred. It belongs to you alone. We return to the gap. That narrow space where the spark waits for wood. You now know what to do with it. Do not hand it your voice. Do not hand it your name. Let it burn out in the open air. The ash will fall harmlessly. The common mistake is to confuse restraint with repression. They are not the same. Repression pushes the fire underground. It burns hotter later. Restraint simply watches the fuel. It chooses not to strike. There is a difference. One is fear. The other is freedom. You will feel the old pull again tomorrow. The sharp word. The sudden demand. The screen that lights your room at midnight. The body will tense. The mind will reach. This is normal. This is human. But you are no longer a reflex. You are a witness. Remember the architect. He does not rush the foundation. He measures. He waits. He lets the concrete cure in the cool dark. The structure holds because of what he did not do. Because of what he withheld. Your character is built the same way. Not by every word you speak, but by the ones you leave in the silence. There is a profound dignity in the unspoken. A quiet power in the withheld reply. It does not make you small. It makes you steady. The river does not argue with the stone. It moves around it. Over time, it shapes it. Water wins by patience. Not by force. The spark will always rise. It is the nature of the mind to throw embers. But you control the floorboards. You decide what catches. You decide what stays. Let the silence work. Let the gap widen. Let the world rush past you. You are not behind. You are anchored. Watch the impulse rise. Feel the heat. Keep your voice. Keep your peace. The quiet path is yours.